Have you ever wondered how captivity changes the way a wild animal lives, moves, and survives? Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Hi, my name is Nur Shazia Auni binti Malim and I am the representative for Group 3.
Kandang Rusa Dewan
It's a wrap!
In today's video, we are going to explore how Javan deer respond to a managed environment in UITM Perlis Deer Farm, focusing on their behavior, adaptation, and interaction under human care. Through direct observation, we aim to correlate the classroom knowledge with the real-life animal behavior, and we also want to learn more about how environment and management influence their behavioral pattern. So, without further ado, let us start this video. The species for this study is the Javan deer, scientifically known as Rusa timorensis. This deer is belonging to the family of Cervidae and it is classified as a medium-sized cervid. Javan deer is commonly known for its slender body, relatively long legs, and the presence of antlers in males for dominance display and mating competition. In terms of behavior, Rusa timorensis is a social earth-forming species. They live in groups consisting of females, juveniles, and dominant males. Javan deer also exhibit a clear dominance hierarchies, particularly in males. And Javan deer also exhibit a behavioral such as crepuscular, which is they are very active in the early morning and in the late afternoon, while they show a reduced activity in the midday. In Malaysia, the Javan deer is locally known as Rusa Timor. They are very widely recognized and managed in deer farms, research facilities, and educational institutions, including UITM Perlis Deer Farm. The Javan deer originates from Timor Island and the surrounding areas of Indonesia, particularly Timor Timur. This species inhabits grasslands, open woodlands, and savanna-like environments where it feeds on grasses, shrubs, and low-growing vegetation. Due to its favorable characteristics such as rapid growth, successful reproduction, and the tolerance of human presence, the Javan deer has been introduced into several countries outside its native range, including Malaysia. In UITM Perlis, the deer farming activities began in 1995 with the introduction of 6 individuals, which comprises of 4 females and 2 males. Until now, the population growth has grown into 40 individuals. This population growth demonstrates that Rusa timorensis has adapted well in the captive environment provided in UITM Perlis Deer Farm. The deer at UITM Perlis are housed in 6.3-acre paddock system with 4 main sites. Site A is dominated by grass and taro plants, which supports the feeding behavior. Site B contains a high proportion of water sources, influencing drinking and resting behavior. This is Site C, which is mainly covered by shrubs and trees, which provides shade and shelter. Lastly, this is Site D, which is predominantly grassland, which encourage grazing and group movement. Next, I will provide the brief overview of the unique behaviors observed. For this part, our group has decided to mainly focus on the Javan deer fawn. One of the most unique behaviors of the fawn is the freeze and lying down defense mechanism. Basically, when a fawn senses danger, it will lie flat on the ground and remain completely still, almost like it's playing a quiet game called hide and seek. This clever trick helps the fawn to avoid predators, which relies on the movement to spot their prey. Although this behavior is really fascinating, sadly it was not observed during the study period, likely because the fawn maybe felt very safe and free from threats. Instead, the actual observed behaviors are feeding, resting, play and locomotor actions, and suckling. Second is the resting behavior. The fawn was often seen lying down or remaining stationary, either alone or in close proximity to the mother. Third is play and locomotor behavior. These included short movements such as walking, running, and playful actions. These behaviors were usually brief and occurred intermittently rather than continuously. Fourth is suckling behavior. The fawn was seen nursing from the mother at specific times rather than repeatedly throughout the observation period. The fawn was seen actively feeding through exploratory feeding within the paddock. This behavior has occurred repeatedly across the observation periods. Based on the graph, we can conclude that feeding was the most frequent observed behavior, followed by resting, play and locomotor action, and lastly, the suckling behavior, which is the most less frequent behavior. Feeding behavior was the most frequently observed behavior in the fawn. The fawn spent a large amount of time grazing on grass, almost like eating was its full-time job. This makes sense because a young deer needs a lot of energy to support its growth and development. Frequent grazing on grass also shows that the fawn starting to rely on solid food rather than drinking milk, which meaning that the fawn starting to be independent. Resting behavior was also commonly observed. This behavior helps to conserve energy and support healthy development. Fun fact, growing actually uses a lot of energy. That is why we can see that young animals actually rest more than the adults. The frequent resting behaviors show that the fawn is very comfortable in the campus environment. Another interesting behavior observed in the fawn was play and locomotor action. In the early morning, the fawn was seen running, jumping, and splashing in the water with the other young deer. Even though it looks like they are playing, but it is very important because play and locomotor action helps in their muscle development, coordination, and social bonding. We can say that this is the fawn's version of morning exercise, but it is just much cuter. Suckling behavior or milk drinking was observed, but they occurred less frequently. They usually happened only when the mother was present. This behavior is still important because it shows that the fawn was still dependent to the mother and it maintains the mother and fawn strong bond. On the other hand, the lower frequency suggests that the fawn was gradually transitioning from milk-based nutrition into solid food nutrition. In conclusion, the trip to UiTM Perlis Deer Farm has provided valuable insight into the behavior of Javan deer in a managed environment. Feeding and resting were the dominant behaviors observed in the fawn, while playing, suckling and grooming has supported the physical development and social bonding. Overall, this study demonstrates that a well-managed captive environment can also support the natural behavioral expression in Javan deer.